So the situation with HR8, this is about universal background checks. And universal background checks is a stupid name to call criminalization of private transfers. Let me be very clear. And unlike people who write policy, be it for companies or, Congress, I don't have to sit here and look at notes because you should know this much about your rights that you can rattle this off from memory. 18 USC 922, that is the U.S. code where you can go and look. It's public information, and it lays out every single thing that you have ever wanted to know about firearm law. And in 18 USC 922, whether you are in subsection A, B, C, all the way through E and F, it gets into everything from defining prohibited possessors. And one of the other fun facts about this particular portion of our United States law, of U.S. Code 18 USC 922, is that it also already regulates private transfers. There you have it. The government cannot tell you what to do with your property, number one. Number two, federal law already regulates private transfers. Yes, it does. Because if you would argue with me that it doesn't, then you tell me why there exists a penalty for purchasing like a handgun in one state and driving across state lines to your state of residence. If they don't regulate private transfers like that, then why, dear reader, do they actually have this penalty on the books? It's amazing. It's already federally regulated. Now, if you were in your state of residence and you're not a prohibited possessor and you purchase from someone who is not a prohibited possessor and they have no reason to suspect that you are a prohibited possessor, you can engage in the private transfer of a handgun. You can also engage in the private transfer of a long gun. But if you start getting into the point where you're selling things, then there are several different types of federal firearms licenses, short FFL. You have to get a dealer license. A dealer FFL. And so what universal background checks are attempting to do is make everyone a de facto FFL. And this is another reason you should have a problem with it, because you have to do a certain number of things in order to maintain your FFL, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing is that Democrats have never actually articulated how people are going to be able to access a system that they're not even able to access unless you're talking about paying, in some states, very hefty fees, which is going to price poorer people out of the exercise of the Second Amendment. And I thought that we declared that such regulations and rules were racist, particularly if you applied them to any other natural right, but somehow applying them to the Second Amendment is A-okay. Interestingly, this comes from white Democrats who also attempted to apply the same hurdle to every other single natural right that free black men and women in the United States attempted to exercise during the days of Jim Crow. Not surprised for a party that recently eulogized a former Klans member just in the same century. So, we continue. The universal background check system is a faulty system. Let me give you one example. Steve, I'm going to use you as an example. Sorry, I'm going to put you right out there. DJ Fun Uncle. DJ Fun Uncle is about to let's say he's, if he applies for maybe he wants to get like a job basically heading up, which he will never leave us. But say that he just, for the sake of argument, he gets a job DJing, like he's like the top DJ at this epic club. It's like the thing that's where everybody goes. You got to do a background check, right? Now, when you go and you file to be employed somewhere, you have to fill out a form, correct? Is this true, right? Yeah. All right.
Yes, anywhere.
Are you required, you're required to give certain information, right?
Your social security number, for sure.
Let's pause right there, because that's so very interesting that you mentioned that. You have to give your social security number. And this is a big thing, right? Because you would hate to not have identifying information, such as, something so individual as a social security number, and accidentally be identified as someone else, correct? And then maybe that costs you the job. That could really derail a lot of things, right? So you have to provide your social security number. If you have to use that to get a job, why does the ATF not require it to fill out a 4473 to buy a gun?